All right, everyone, we're live here in the look at this background. Oh my God. But the question here is how good is this internet? That is a real question. Because yeah, I am in my room here at the hotel and this is not the best. Oh, why is this month? Wait a second. 1 second, I'm just taking care of something here. Oh, we got some people in the house. Good, good, good. Where do I find myself? In Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya. So, and I think we're ready to begin. Ooh, we got some people here already in the chat. It's a big day. A day in which much happened, of course. So, all right, let's start a poll, first of all. Wait, why is this H? What the hell? This is strange. I'm trying to start a poll, and it won't let me start a poll. It's interesting. Ah, okay. So here we are. We're starting a poll. How do you feel about today? Happy, sad, adoption, mixed feelings. All right, our poll is started. Greetings from Canada. All right, here we are. Thomas Tripp. Oh, it's a real person. Nice. So yeah, here we are. I'm in Nairobi, Kenya right now. I was actually Nairobi, Kenya. I was busy doing like all the YouTube stuff and preparations and whatever, and then like I got sucked into the news cycle. At which point I was like, okay, you know, let's do a live stream. Let's I don't know, share our feelings about today, because I saw the images. You know, on the one hand, I saw the images of all the hostages being released and all that and everything, and then I also saw the victory celebrations of Hamas, and knowing how previous hostage deals, what happened in previous hostage deals, it's very likely that every hostage that Israel releases will cost Israel 1, 2, 3, 5 dead people in the future. That's my feeling. So it's tough. This whole situation is really tough. But yeah, we saw some of the girls being released after being held hostage for over a year. So that was nice to see, and I'm happy about that. But yeah, I just got depressed a little bit, like, to be honest, just from this whole thing. It's been going on now for a year and a half, and it's just, I don't know what to say. Who do we have here in the chats? Where are you right now? I said I'm in Nairobi, Kenya. Greetings from Germany. I hope you're doing good today. Thank you. Hello from Cairo. Hello. Marhaba. Greetings from Bangladesh. Pablo is also in Cairo, and we also have someone from Hungary, although the name is in Chinese. So yeah. Greetings from Finland, of all places. Finland. Leonidas. King Leonidas. Good to see you. So yeah, been doing some videos here in Africa, and it's going well. I'm meeting some people. I got some really good videos coming out soon. But I also feel like I miss Israel. That's kind of also why I said, will I be there? Because I feel like I've been on the road now for 2.5 months since I left, and I've done some big trips. I've done some big trips here since I started vlogging. The longest was 4 months. So this one's probably going to be 4 months before I get back. But I think in about a month's time I might get back. We'll see. So yeah. How about you share a StreamYard link so that we can have a discussion? What's a StreamYard link? I don't even know what that is. But yeah. Israel misses you, I'm sure. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Like, possibility may be that if in a month, well, again, also depends how my videos do in Africa. If some of my coming videos really blow up in Africa, then I might actually stick around. But if I go back to Israel, I would like to stay in Israel for a while this time, not just a couple weeks or a month, but stay for a while. So, yeah, maybe get back into doing a little bit of journalism to complement the vlogs, just to pay the bills, while I continue to vlog, of course. But I can't fund myself just from vlogging when I'm in Israel. So that's the deal. You live in Tel Aviv? Yeah, I live in Tel Aviv. I was living in Tel Aviv for 7 years before I started vlogging. So yeah. Someone here says your experience in Saudi. Well, we talked about it before, but yeah, I mean, it was good. Saudi is different than some of the other countries that it's very different than, for example, Egypt and Morocco. It's a lot more developed. They have a lot of foreign workers there, kind of style UAE, but you still get to see a lot of local culture, which you don't see in UAE. So Saudi is very interesting. It's kind of in a mix between going towards hyper modernity, but still very traditional. I enjoyed it. It was good. I think it's definitely has a lot of tourism potential, Saudi. I feel like Saudi can definitely overtake, for example, Dubai, because Saudi offers all the Dubai stuff, but also some more authentic experience, which you don't have so much in UAE, right? UAE's, you're not going to meet many local people. You're just going to get the whole nice package there, which is fun and good. There's nothing wrong with that, but Saudi was good. What else do we have here? Someone asked you, let's go back to the questions. Matthew, big supporter of mine. Thank you for joining. Israel misses you. I hope so. And yeah, you should make a video shopping for gifts in local market in Kenya. They make cute keychains. I could do a market video, yeah. Do you think the experience in Saudi would be different if they all knew you were from Israel? Yeah, I think it would be different. Again, depending who. If you're talking about like foreign workers, then I don't think they would say anything because they're just happy to be there and working. They don't want trouble. But I think with locals, yeah, there would be some more trouble. Yeah, for sure. I had the experience in Jeddah with someone. I didn't even say I was from Israel. I just said I was Jewish, right? And he got all angry at me because of the war in Gaza, I didn't catch that on film, but I talked about it in one of my other videos. How did you experience South Africa? Yeah, I wasn't there. Visit Pakistan as well. Don't rely on the media. You'll love it. Would you ever visit Serbia? Yeah, definitely. There's gonna be like a extended Balkan tour at some point, right? I did Albania, but I definitely think Serbia, Bosnia, all that. There's a lot to explore there. So it's gonna, and it's close to Israel, so it's very easy to like fly in. So that's gonna come at some point. Well, Serbia for sure. Yeah. So we see most people as far as the feel about today, 31% say happy, 14% say sad, 54% say mixed feelings. That makes sense. We all have mixed feelings about this. Vulcan, would you do a Balkan tour? Would you go to Turkey? I want to go to Turkey. I really want to go to Turkey. But again, I feel like It's a problem now. It's a problem. Post October 7th, all these destinations become a lot more problematic than they were before. You know, Israelis, tons of Israelis used to go to Turkey, but would I feel comfortable walking around Istanbul right now and saying I'm from Israel? No. Yeah. Go to Eritrea. So I want to go to Eritrea. The problem is it's so hard to get to Eritrea. Do you guys know? You won't believe this. There's only one country in Africa. Eritrea is in Africa, right? If you know your geography. It's in East Africa, close to Ethiopia. There's only one country in Africa that has direct flights to Eritrea. Would you believe that? One country, and that country is Egypt. So all the neighboring countries, all the Somalia and Ethiopia and Kenya, none of them have flights to Eritrea. If you want to fly to Eritrea, you have to fly somewhere else. 4 places fly to Eritrea. I checked it. Egypt, Saudi, UAE, and Turkey have direct flights to Eritrea. So if you want to go to Eritrea, you have to fly through one of those countries. Crazy. The country is so isolated. It's also very hard to get a visa. So yeah, that's a problem. Have you traveled to Peru and Argentina? Yeah, I went to Peru. Argentina, no, I cut my trip short because I wasn't getting views in South America, and also because October 7th happened, 2023. One of my best videos, I think, one of my best videos on my channel is from Peru. It doesn't have a Peru flag in the thumbnail. I should probably put it. It's called Search for a Lost Something in the Jungle. I forgot. Wait a second. But I think it's one of my best videos. It got 1,000 views, which is pathetic compared to what that video is, worth. But yeah, if you go back to my channel, if you go to the early part of my channel, you'll see my South America videos, and you'll probably see it there. And yeah, I'll just share it here in the thing because I really love that video, and I feel like it's just so unfair that it doesn't get any views because it was like a real vlogging experience, adventurous vlogging experience. Oh, I discovered a lost city deep in the Peruvian jungle, it's called. I discovered a lost city deep in the Peruvian jungle. I'm going to share that here. You have to watch that video. Here is a link. Yeah, what else we got here? Do you have multiple passports so it's easier to travel in Israeli? I mean, yeah, I can't enter Saudi with an Israeli passport. So, opinion on the ceasefire deal. And will Israel help Gaza rebuild their nation again? Look, the whole problem here from Israel's perspective is that nobody has any faith. Nobody has any faith that Gaza under Hamas will not just go back to launching rockets at Israel and attacking Israel. I mean, that's what they all said. Also now, after the ceasefire, they said, the next October 7th is coming. Khaybar ya Yahud, Jesh Muhammad Sagyud. Khaybar, which I went to in Saudi, yeah? I put that little intro in the video. So they're screaming the Khaybar all over Gaza. So yeah, that's why this deal is bittersweet, because it's kind of like a surrender to Hamas, I think. I think most people who are, unless you believe Netanyahu's propaganda nonsense, I think most people will understand that this is a surrender to Hamas terms. And that just means, as far as they're concerned, they won. They got what they were able to commit the massacre and the kidnappings and, come out, quote, victorious, even though half of Gaza was leveled and so many people died, but they don't care about that. So yeah, I'm not hopeful. I'm not hopeful. John says, I've been watching most of your vlogs in Israel and love them. It's a country I will be going to visit hopefully soon. I'm not Jewish. I am a Scotsman living in Scotland. Welcome. Do you know that Alec is a Scottish variation of Alex? Apparently, yeah. Alec, my name. So that's my Scottish connection, supposedly. But yeah, you're welcome to visit. Look, Israel is not that popular in Scotland. It's not hated like as much as in Ireland, but there's some of the same kind of, tropes of the Scottish having their experience with British colonialism and, kind of mixing that all up with their opinion in Israel. That's what the Irish have. So yeah, there's a lot of anti-Israel sentiment in Scotland, but, it is what it is. But I'm glad that you're enjoying the videos and want to come visit. You're welcome anytime. Are you Jewish respectively? Of course. All right, we got some questions like, can peace ever be established between Israel and Palestine? Is it time to recognize the state of Palestine to move forward? Yeah, I mean, look, I've said in the past that the way I see it, based on not just based on my opinion, but based on listening to what the Palestinians say and do, not just now, but for years, they reject Israel. They don't accept the existence of Israel. The most common comment I get on my YouTube videos, especially on the Egypt video, is there's no Israel, or from the river to the sea, which is the same thing. So I don't think recognizing Palestine will bring peace, you know, because Israel is still there. So, that's my thought on that. You can recognize Palestine, but Hamas are still going to be demanding Jaffa and Haifa and all those things. And we've seen that Israel withdrew from places. They withdrew from Hal Titkallem El Arabiya. How do you speak Arabic? Hal? I don't know. There's something with the dialects and stuff. But yeah, I learned some Arabic, picked up some Arabic, Hal Inta Israeli. What does hal mean? I know hala can mean like now, but this is the problem with Arabic. All these dialects, there's different stuff, I'm also in Scotland and love Israel. Well, I'm glad to hear we have some supporters in Scotland. Very friendly people, the Scottish, really. I met some on my travels, very, very nice, very friendly people. What else we got here? No Israel, no Palestine, but just Holy Land for all people. No border, no flag. It's Holy Land and I'm Muslim. Yeah, but that's not going to work. Look, realistically, we live in a sectarian region, so actually the most stable, successful states in the Middle East are states that you don't have all those divisions internally, like the UAE, Saudi, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar. The countries where you have mash of all the groups, like Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, it's a source of destabilization. So just from a perspective of being practical and what will work, I think it's actually much better for the Jews and the Muslim Arabs, right, and some Christians to separate, right, to each have masters of their own fate. That's a much better recipe for stability than shoving them together. So yeah. Greetings from Greece. Hello. Are you currently living in Israel or a different country? I mean, Israel. I don't live anywhere because I'm a travel vlogger, right? So I'm moving around. I'm not renting an apartment now. But Israel. Yeah, like when I go back to Israel, my parents, my family, my friends. Yeah. Okay, when Israelis have peace with Palestinians, Mo Acham, do you believe personally in two-state solution? So yeah, I mean, I've said before, I'm a two-state solution person, like in the sense that if there's a border between the two sides and each side can run their own affairs and peacefully, then that would be a great solution. I just don't really think it's on the cards. Like a lot of people seem to think that Israel can implement a two-state solution if it so chose, right? It's up to Israel. If Israel did a series of actions, right, A, B, C, then there would be two states, and then the Palestinians or other groups, whatever, like Hezbollah and stuff, would stop attacking Israel. They would say, okay, we got what we wanted, and now we leave Israel alone. And I don't think that's what we've seen historically or based on the rhetoric or any evidence really supports that. For example, Israel withdrew from Gaza, and then Hamas started firing rockets into Israel from Gaza. They didn't say, oh, look, they withdrew. That's a sign that they don't want to take over this territory. Now we can start building the territory. Israel withdrew from southern Lebanon, and then Hezbollah started attacking them. So they didn't see it as a sign of, okay, Israel is gone. Now we can build here what we need to build or whatever. So, it's empirically not backed up. I wish it were. My life would be easier, right? People would also praise me. Oh, you're a peace person and whatever. Like, I am a peace person, but I'm just realistic. I look at the facts. I'm a cold-hearted analyst, some could say. Like, I'm a cold-hearted analyst also how I talk about the hostages because it's such an emotional subject. So everyone's, they're all pictures of the hostages coming home and I agree with all that. But I'm thinking, calculation. I'm thinking every hostage that's being released is going to cost Israel 3-5 dead people in the future. Are their lives worth any less than the hostages? No. That's what happened with Gilad Shalit. We released the soldier and, we released Sinwar and a bunch of other people. And it was a disaster for Israel. So it's kind of like, emotion is one thing and empathy, and I have. And if I was my family were held hostage, I would demand the whole world for them. But then, if you look at this from a cold calculation, you know that this is not a good situation for Israel. So yeah. What else here? Bro, please consider visiting Eritrea. The people are kind, welcoming, and hospitable. Yeah, I really want to go to Eritrea. The effing problem about Eritrea is how do you get there? I was 1 hour drive from Eritrea. 1 hour drive. I was in Tigray in Ethiopia. If the border were open, I would drive across, but it's closed. Yeah, there's a mosquito here. So yeah, I have to fly to Dubai and then fly from Dubai to Eritrea. It's such a I really want to go to Eritrea, and my friend Coco Girl, she wants to go as well, but it's just really hard to get to Eritrea. It's a hard country to enter. That's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, first of all, we have here Traveling Clat, one of the best creators on YouTube, one of the best people. Some of you know his channel. So good to see you, man. I sent you a message today, Tal. I hadn't talked to you. I hadn't talked to Tal in like a week. And I sent him a message saying, I miss you. We got to go back to Israel and make videos. It's going to happen as well. Each thing in its time. So thanks for the contribution. What else? Samuel, my stance on Netanyahu has begun to crumble in the last 2 days. I told you. You see? But yeah, I'm just kidding. Like I'm not here to gloat or anything. But we'll still see. We still have to see what happens. But I think it's clear that Israel's not in a good position, and one has to ask what role the man at the head had in Israel's current situation. I hope Israel can gain back all their land. No, it's not about gaining land. This war isn't about gaining back land. Israel didn't gain any land in this war. It's about getting back the hostages and removing Hamas as a threat. It's not about land. Cousin here in Liverpool, UK, thanks. We have also Amel Mustafa who says hi, and I'm from Egypt, Cairo. Nice to meet you. It's crazy. My video from Egypt, it's 1.5 years old, and it's still, like, on average, my top or second most best performing video at any given time. Meaning, no matter how many new videos I put out and how many subjects I change, my video from Egypt continues to perform. It continues to get over 1,000 views a day, which is good for me. So that's, like, one of my best videos for sure. What is... Sorry, Palestine or Israel. I respect your opinion. Thank you. What else do we have here? Good to watch your videos. Love your Ethiopia visit videos. Thank you. Would you agree with the boundaries of the UN Plan 1947 as a starting point for a two-state solution? No. I would agree with the what's called the 67 borders, right? Which is basically the 1949 armistice line. So when the Arab armies invaded Israel in 1948, a war was fought. When the war ended, there was a ceasefire line. It was an armistice line, right? So it's just a ceasefire line. The Arabs insisted that that's not the border, right? That's not the international border because that would mean recognizing Israel. So that's why it's kind of funny that it's become, over the years, the accepted border between Israel and what will be the Palestinian state, right? So any Jewish community beyond that line is considered a settlement. So, there's some problems with this, but still, it's a reasonable place to draw the line, realistically. 49 armistice line borders, 67 borders, as we call it, not 47 borders. The Arabs rejected the 47 borders and launched a war back in 1947-48. They don't get to revert back to the borders that they rejected and launched a war after. 49, 67 borders, that's also the demographic realities, pretty much. That's more realistic and more possible for Israel to defend. Hope you're enjoying your stay in my country. Oh, it's Andisi. Andisi reached out to me. She's a Kenyan vlogger. We went to check out Nairobi a couple days ago, and I filmed a video with her. So that's going to come soon. Something to be excited about. So yeah. Check out our channel on DC. What else we got here? Joe Cooper says, as a Bangladeshi Muslim, I pray for peace between the Arabs and the Jewish people. Yeah, of course, me too. That would be great, right? If we were able to cooperate in the region and, you know, do good stuff, and if the Middle East became something like the EU, you know, it's already kind of like that between some of the Gulf states, you know, between Saudi, Bahrain, UAE, even Qatar, despite the differences they have with Qatar. There's kind of a lot of trade and open relationship, etc., etc. I wish Israel could be part of that as well, and also the other, you know, unstable countries, conglomerate countries, as opposed to monolith countries like the Gulf states. So, you know, Syria, Iraq, things like that. We could all be the EU of the Middle East and start cooperating on what matters and not fighting wars. That would be amazing. Because this is what Mohammed bin Salman said in his speech recently. He said, you know, the future is in the Middle East, not in Europe. Is he wishful thinking? I don't know, but it would be nice if that were true. Maybe it will be, who knows? But not with Israel, at least. Maybe with some of those Arab states. Israel, they're not ready to take in Israel to that extent yet, unfortunately. How do you finance all of your travels? Do you have a job outside of YouTube? I did do a little bit of freelance work while I traveled, but yeah, I mean, I make income from YouTube, from videos. I get contributions like in the live streams and on PayPal and stuff. And I travel very cheap. Like my budget is very low. You know, I always stay in $10, $12 hostels, hotels. I eat cheap street food. I'm able to get very cheap flights. So I'm just traveling on a very low budget and kind of living off the YouTube income. And, you know, breaking even, maybe. Probably not breaking even, probably in the red a little bit. But, yeah, that's the situation right now. What else? I love Israel. The Middle East used to be Jewish or Christian. Yeah, I mean, not only, there were also pagans, you know. So all kinds of groups came through. Muslims came also later. And that's something that people forget, right? They forget that in all these Muslim countries, you have older Jewish and Muslim communities that are there. And that's fine. That's not anything against the Muslims today. It's, you know, this is how history played out. But there's kind of like this idea that the ultimate indigenous person of the Middle East is an Arab Muslim, right? Like the Palestinian Hamas fighter is the indigenous person and the Jew is the colonizer. And that's kind of not understanding how history works in this region. What else we got here? Tall in the house, yes. Somebody says, I'm from Alexandria, Egypt. Cool, cool, yeah. So that's where I finished my video in Egypt. Israel gained some land in Syria. Do you think it's not connected to Gaza? No, but they didn't really gain any land. They took a outpost on the Helmon, on the mountaintop there. They took the Syrian outpost like on the border. That's not. They didn't. I don't know what they're writing on Al Jazeera about Israel and Syria, but the idea that Israel is taking land in Syria is just nonsense. It's not happening. Just securing the border from the jihadists who took over Syria, who already said they want to march on Jerusalem, right? So, yeah. Poland. Hello, Poland. What do you think of people who want a greater Israel? I think they're idiots, but the greater Israel, as it is described in Twitter, is a joke, right? Like, whenever I'm in Twitter, I see their plan is greater Israel, and then there's a map of Israel, like, from the Nile to the Euphrates. It's such nonsense. So, no person is sitting in Israel now and, like, going like this. It's like, how am I going to expand all the way to the Nile and the Euphrates? We don't even have enough people. Israel is so small. Just understand the size. We're surrounded by 400 million Arabs. We're 7.5 million Jews, 10 million Israelis. We barely have enough people to populate the Galilee and the Negev in Israel. You know, like we don't have enough people to literally populate Israel minus even the West Bank. We don't have enough people in this country to secure those areas properly. So, like, how the hell are you gonna build a Jewish town like next to Baghdad? Anyways, it's just crazy conspiracy theories. Elders of Zion style conspiracy theories. But on Twitter, anything goes. You know, lies if you pump the lie out enough on Twitter, then it's true as far as people there are concerned. The reality doesn't matter. Blessings from Canada. Thank you. By the way, I'm Egyptian, and they don't have any problem with Israel, and we're very chill. Well, depends which Egyptians. I receive a lot of attacks and hatred from Egyptians. Also, some love, but less. Like a lot of attacks and hatred from Egyptians. What can you do? Yeah, there's Egyptians have their beef with Israel. So I'm glad you're not like that, and your friends maybe, but there's a lot of hostility in Egypt towards Israel. That's just the reality. Welcome to Moldova. Hopefully soon. Is Palestine more like a autonomous territory at this point, or what do you think? Look, the problem with this word Palestine is that it can mean a lot of different things. People throw around Palestine and the Palestinians as if, the Palestinians living in Gaza, the West Bank, and inside Israel are all the same and part of the same entity, and it's not the case. Like in Israel, they're Israeli citizens. That's it. They have everything, and they're equal citizens, and so that's one situation. And then the other situation is in Gaza. In Gaza, they're under Hamas. Hamas is at war with Israel, always, like even before October 7th, right? Hamas's position is we're going to destroy Israel, we're going to kill all the Jews. That's what they say in their charter. So we're in a state of belligerency with them. Even if you're not currently firing rockets at each other, we're in a state of belligerency, of war with them. So there's a blockade on Gaza at all times, or weapons embargo on Gaza to stop them from arming and attacking Israel at any given moment. In the West Bank, they have the Palestinian Authority, which is their elected leadership, but it's not elected because Abbas is in the 20th year of his 4-year term. And you also have a problem with so they have their own autonomy, and they can make their own decisions and so forth, but they are disrupted also by the Israeli settlements. We have the religious right-wingers in Israel who don't think the Palestinians should have any type of autonomy, and they cause some disruptions there. There's a huge amount of media focus on them. They're definitely a problem, and I oppose them rigorously at every opportunity that I'm asked about them, but I don't think they're the cause of the conflict. So the settlers can disappear tomorrow, and then it's, okay, Haifa, Jaffa, Al-Quds, Jerusalem next, That's why they call every Israeli a settler all the time, right? They call the people that were kidnapped and the people who live on the border settlers, on the border of Gaza, right? And they're not in the West Bank. So yeah, that's the deal. What else we got here? Alec, thank you for your amazing work. I learned so much about so many different countries because of you. You're such a gift. You're super smart, knowledgeable, and wise. Thank you. Thank you. Go and film Ethiopian Timket ceremony tomorrow at Yahya Center Orthodox Church. Yeah, there's some type of ceremony going on here tomorrow. If you support the 67 borders, then you have no issue with Jerusalem being part of the Palestinians as it was before 67. Well, Jerusalem was not part of the Palestinians. It was part of Jordan, illegally, yeah? So in 48, Jordan conquered East Jerusalem. They attacked Jerusalem, and then a ceasefire was signed in 48. They expelled all the Jews from the eastern part of Jerusalem, destroyed all the synagogues, and then they illegally annexed it, yeah? So when Jordan annexed East Jerusalem, it wasn't recognized by any country except for Pakistan and the UK. The UK because they backed Jordan back then, backed King Abdallah the First, not this Abdallah, and Glub Pasha. There was the Jordanian Legion, which was a British armed and trained unit of Jordanian soldiers, which is funny, by the way, because everyone says that Israel won the 48 war because of colonial forces. It was actually the Jordanians that had a very strong colonial force at the time. Bottom line is, East Jerusalem was Jordan. I challenge any person here to go into any newspaper, the Times, New York Times, whatever, Middle East this, Middle East that. Look in any newspaper, you'll see before 67 that the eastern part of Jordan, of Jerusalem, was called, without fail, every single time, the Jordanian sector of Jerusalem. That's what it was called. That's just like bona fide fact of history. every single article, newspaper called it the Jordanian sector of Jerusalem because it was a part of Jerusalem that was under Jordan, illegally annexed by Jordan. It wasn't called East Jerusalem, Arab East Jerusalem, traditional Arab East Jerusalem, Palestinian East, none of those things. Okay, so fine, now the Palestinians are claiming it. I personally don't think Jerusalem should be divided. The divided Jerusalem is a result of war. That we're talking about a half-half city. Same way Nicosia is divided because of war. Berlin was divided because of war. With that being said, if peace would rain down on us as a result of the Palestinians having East Jerusalem, then they can have it, as far as I'm concerned, right? If it would bring real peace. I just don't think that's the case, you know? So I'm kind of like, I don't care about the land, right? I'm perfectly willing to concede land if it actually brings peace, but I just don't think that's the case. So I'm willing to concede land for peace. I'm not willing to concede land for, you know, some international resolution and then not have peace, which is what Israel did in Gaza, in Lebanon, even in Egypt to a certain extent. That was the only time Israel conceded land and got peace, but it's a very cold peace. And it's, you know, it's not a real peace between the peoples. Egypt rejects Israel. So it's just held together by like flimsy political agreement or whatever. So you can't buy off the Palestinians. The Palestinians are unbribable in that sense, right? If you think you can buy off the Palestinian story, right, which is the story of, you know, we lived in this land called Palestine forever. Everyone lived together peacefully, Jews, Muslims, Christians, and then the European Zionists, the fake European Jews came and they stole Palestine with the help of the colonial powers and have been oppressing us ever since. That's the Palestinian story. They're not going to, so, you know, they're fighting that, right? And that doesn't involve retreating from some settlements. That means the whole thing needs to be dismantled. Zionism needs to be dismantled. You're not going to buy them off by giving them a few territories in the West Bank. I promise you that. You're not going to bribe off the Palestinians with some money and with some territory. No, that's not going to work. I wish it would. You know, if it would be great. Here, take some land, take some this, and leave us alone. But this is not going to happen. You know, so I'm just realistic. I'm a pessimistic realist. I listen to what they say. I look at the evidence, and I say we're stuck. Okay. Do you have a link to this Kenyan woman's channel? It will come soon because the video with her will be published, and then you can follow her. Did you know that Egyptian club Al Ali SC traveled to mandatory Palestine in 1943 and played against Jewish teams that became Israeli teams post 1948? No, I did not know that. That's a very cool fact with Muhammad Essam. That's very interesting. That's cool. Yeah, it's true. Like the Palestine team, what was called the Palestine team was a Jewish team back then, yeah? I'm talking about, I think, like the national team, right? But maybe also the clubs. But I didn't know that the Egyptians actually came there and played. That's interesting. I'll have to research that. But thank you for that interesting nugget of information. All right, wait. Oh my God, I'm so behind on the questions. What do you know about Moldova and Transnistria? Not much. I do hope to visit though. I saw a video yesterday in Egypt and I saw how that guy on the bike treated you like the one who told you to get off the bike. Yeah. That famous scene has gone viral on Twitter many times. Compare the Arab countries you have visited. Which countries did you feel were open to Jews and where you saw that Jews respected you, especially Morocco? So yeah, Morocco probably. Look, in Saudi, because I was like filming and, you know, technically you're not allowed to film in public there without a permit and stuff, even though people do it. So I was kind of, and that was post October 7th. So I was kind of in Saudi, I was a bit apprehensive about the whole Israel thing. So yeah, so in Saudi I can't say as much, but definitely Morocco, I felt people receptive to being from Israel, and I felt safer than in Egypt saying I was from Israel, right? In non-tourist places, like in tourist places, it's a different story. But because in tourist places in Egypt, they were used to Israelis. If you go to the pyramids and, you know, these kind of places. But yeah. And also, particularly in Morocco, the Berbers in southern Morocco were very, very receptive when I said I was from Israel. So they actually like, you know, they had a lot of interaction with Jews for millennia. And they have their own beef with like the Arabs, you know, the Berbers and the Arabs. So if you say you're from Israel, actually, I got a warm reception. Also, my friend Coco girl when she was there. Yeah. So Morocco was nice. I wish you health and good, well and good health. Got to go now, and I might meet up with you in Israel. Take it easy. All right. Thank you, John. When are you going to the Netherlands? Yeah, who knows? I was in the Netherlands. I did a bike trip with my dad in the Netherlands. I filmed parts of it. I didn't upload the video though. What's your opinion about the settler politics? Do you think without the settlers, Hamas would take power in the West Bank? Um, Maybe. I mean, look, there could still be security cooperation between Israel and the Palestinian Authority to prevent Hamas takeover. The problem is that Hamas is popular, right? That's what the people want. They want Hamas. So if Israel is preventing Hamas from taking over, then it's Israel is interfering with the Palestinian politics. That's what they always say. People are saying Israel has no right to choose the Palestinian leaders and the Palestinian political parties, which is true technically. The problem is that Hamas political movement is calling for Israel's annihilation. So there's kind of a reason why Israel might want to stop them from, controlling all the territory. But I don't buy that bullshit that the settlement movement is. I mean, there are ways for Israel to have access to go in and take out Hamas people without all these radical religious right wingers in Israel running around hilltops in the West Bank and attacking Palestinian olive whatever. Like there are ways to do that without that. Like there's no. Like a lot of people in Israel like to make an excuse for those radical groups, those Israeli radical groups, and say, "Oh, they're protecting us." They're not protecting us; they're endangering us. That's the bottom line. They're also attacking Palestinians and not killing them usually, like Palestinian terrorists. Oh well, somebody's screaming in the street, but yeah, they're doing vandalism and low scale terrorism, and it's bad for us. It's very bad for Israel what they're doing. What do you think of Messianic Jews? It's another movement in this whole space of Jews, Muslims, Christians. There's a lot of them. Why are Arabs in Israel not called settlers? Yeah. Somebody here is telling me never to go to Morocco and is calling me a dirty Zionist. Okay, fine. I am Indian Muslim, peace and love, Jewish Muslim, one family. All right. Yeah, hopefully. I like your movies, says Tov Bokel. Thank you. No such thing as Israel. That's exactly what I was talking about. That's like the number one response that I get, right? There's no Israel. Israel doesn't exist. It's Palestine. So that's not about withdrawing from territory. That's I reject Israel. I reject Israel. That's what they're telling us. So we should listen to them. So it's fine. You reject Israel. We hear you. You don't like Israel. You want Israel gone. You support people who attack Israel, and we're not going to let them win. That's it. But don't come and tell us that there's a solution. Israel has the solution in its hand versus all these people who reject Israel's existence. That's the deal. YouTube Bech. I have many Jewish or partly Jewish DNA matches. Help me understand maybe my distant family. All right, interesting story. If you ever visit Bangladesh, happy to meet you one day. Yeah, that might happen, the whole India and Bangladesh thing. We'll see. Here, Anna, and DC replied to you if you want to follow her channel. So yeah, you can click on someone who responds here, and then you can see their channel. Judaism is older than Islam and Christianity, first Abrahamic religion. Yeah, but the fact that we're first doesn't mean we're better or whatever. Like, all religions have their place, and we need to coexist. When are you going to the Netherlands? I don't know. Who knows? Expensive country. You'll host me? Maybe I'll go. Which country did you feel the most hostility? It's strange because the thing is that most of the hostility is online, Meaning in Egypt, when I was actually there, it's true I didn't tell everyone I was from Israel, but there were quite a few that I did. And most of the time it was okay. Like most of the hate I got from Egypt was online. And it shows that most of the hate in general is online. Like it's much easier online to say you dirty Zionist, blah, 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 go F yourself, than it is to see a person in front of you and to get violent with him, It's a different thing. Same in Malaysia. I was in Malaysia and like the people, it was okay, and then it was in the online responses that everyone started. Oh damn! It was in the online responses that everyone started getting all aggressive and this and bringing in all the politics, and so that's that's the way it works. It's like online people are more vicious online, and in the real world, especially people who are not online much and are just living their lives, they tend to have less hate and be more tolerant, and they see a person and they just they chill with him. Planning a trip to Kaifeng, China. Not at the moment, but someone says, Shalom, Mashlomcha, how you doing? I'm doing good. Christians and Romani people deserve a place in the Holy Land. We all have like 20% Jewish. Romani people? Like the Roma, the Gypsies? We don't have really any Gypsies in Israel. So, not that I have anything against them, but they have their countries. We have ours. I'm from Brazil. Unfortunately, our actual government is extremely left and they hate the truth. But as a real Brazilian, I stand with Israel. That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, I know Lula, Bolsonaro was pro-Israel and Lula is anti-Israel. Are you a YouTuber who loves to travel or talk about tourism? Yeah, I travel. That's most of my videos are travel videos, and I talk about my country sometimes because there's a demand for it. Do you have dual citizenship? How did you get into Malaysia? Love your travel videos, by the way. Thank you, clean. Yeah, I can't enter Malaysia with an Israeli passport, so I had another passport to enter, and Malaysia was nice. As a Romani Gypsy, I support Israel. Okay, Stephen. Yeah. So I was just saying, someone said about Romani in Israel, but it's like we don't have Gypsies in Israel, so like there's no point in importing Gypsies into Israel. Let's help the Gypsy communities in the countries where they are right now to do the best that they can and be the best that they can be, and that's it. All right, what else have we got here? Wait. Sorry, I lost the plot here. Does Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Morocco, so on and so on reject Israel? I don't get your point. Depends who, but they're definitely, look, those are three countries that have two of them have agreements with Israel, right? Morocco and Egypt. Saudi don't, but they're more receptive to the idea. So you're talking about, these are the countries that are more pro-Israel, even though they're not, right? They'd be horrified if I called them pro-Israel. But they're less anti-Israel, let's say, than Syria, Iraq, Jordan. No, Jordan is like Egypt. They have an agreement, but things like that. So they're less anti-Israel, but the people are still vehemently against Israel. Because it doesn't matter what agreement you sign, and it doesn't matter who attacked who first or who committed more atrocities. They are in the Palestinian narrative. They believe the Palestinian story. And I told you the story, and I'll tell you it again. This is the Palestinian story. Before Israel, there was a land called Palestine, inhabited by Palestinians, Jews, Muslims, and Christians. Everybody lived peacefully together. It was a bliss. And then Zionism came along with the fake Ashkenazi European Jews who are Khazars. They're not real Jews. And with colonial powers, they came and they stole Palestine from the Palestinians. And that is Israel, and that is Zionism. And they've been oppressing the Palestinians ever since. So this evil movement, this colony in the Middle East needs to be removed. And then, we can start to do something in this world. That's the Palestinian narrative, all right? Which is, of course, wrong on many levels, right? No, Jews, Muslims, and Christians did not live peacefully in the land. There was lots of persecution. It wasn't Palestine. It was the Ottoman Empire. The Ashkenazi Jews are not fake Jews. They're descendants of the Jews of Judea. They didn't steal Palestine. They bought land and developed it, etc. It doesn't matter. I'm saying this is a story, and under that story, they will always side with Palestine and always be against Israel. No matter how irrational or whatever the demands are and non-peace the demands are. So that's the deal. So I'm saying, even if these countries sign agreements and stuff and whatever, still the people, as far as they're concerned, you know, the Israel is the illegitimate entity, and the Palestinians are fighting a just cause. And it doesn't matter who did what, who attacked first, who kidnapped who. You know, they're in. It's a narrative thing. They're in the narrative, and unless the narrative changes, I don't think much long term is going to change. And I don't see the narrative changing. It's only being entrenched more as we fight more wars, and the emotions go high because people get killed and things like that. So yeah, somebody sent here a contribution. Omwi, please visit Hampstead, London. I'm Jewish and we have an interesting community. All right. Well, London, here we come at some point. Definitely need to do some London. You're going to watch inauguration tomorrow? Maybe a bit if I have time. What about Mauritania? Are you going to visit it? Costa Morocco and Algeria. So we had a talk when I was in Morocco with my friend Coco Girl. We were talking about maybe going to Mauritania, and then we kind of thought it was a bit too risky, and we didn't do it. So yeah, maybe someday. Okay, we disprove Greater Israel settlement policy existence, not Israel based on the Oslo Accords. Okay, fine, that's fine. But most Palestinians are not like that. They don't say we accept Israel within 67 borders without the West Bank settlements. They're saying we don't accept Israel at all. So yeah, if they had that more moderate position, the situation would be better. Mercato was lit. Mercato, Addis Ababa. Do you think there will be peace with the Iranians? I mean, if the Ayatollah is removed and Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran is removed, then yeah, why not? What's the problem between Israel and Iranians? None. And all the Iranians I met were so nice. They didn't give a f that I was from Israel. We always get along. I met a lot of Iranians in my trial. Expats, yeah. Not even expats. I met a girl when I was in Armenia. She's not even an expat. She lives in Iran. She went to vacation in Armenia. And I met another guy there. And I meet Iranians, and there's no hostility between us. Unlike a lot of, if I meet someone from Egypt, then I can sense the hostility often from the person. He's polite, but there's hostility. Don't sense that from Iranians. We're good with the Iranians. We just have to get rid of the Islamic Republic, and then all the problems will be solved. Okay, now Anna sent another contribution. Thanks, Anna. Love that. Thank you very much. It doesn't matter what the people say, the governments who are deciders. Sometimes that's true, yeah. But at least in Israel, the government represents the people to a certain extent, So they can't ignore the will of the people. Meaning, if there was and even in countries that are not democratic, you can't completely ignore the will of the people. That's why MBS hasn't signed an agreement with Israel, normalization, right? The Saudi crown prince. He wants to. He knows it's in his geopolitical interest, but the people in Saudi are against. So he has to take that in consideration, because even though he's not an elected leader, right? He's a monarch. So it's not like he can be voted out of office, but still, he has to take into consideration the public opinion. You always have to. The governments can't just do things that are completely detached from what the people want. Why didn't the Arabs want to stay between 4867 Gaza under Egyptian rule and West Bank under Jordanian? True, they didn't care about that. Someone said a Saudi-Israeli flag. Yeah, hopefully that will happen. The normalization. Say hello to Brazil. Hola. I always say Portuguese. It sounds like a Spanish and a Russian accent, I swear. Hello from Scotland. Hello. Contribution from Anna. Thank you. Soon London will become an Arab state, so we'll definitely turn to a point of interest. Yeah. What do you think about Algeria? Yeah, hopefully I can visit one day, but I think it's a bit risky right now. Ever thought about visiting Egypt again? Not until, things calm down geopolitically. Mehab. The thing in Egypt is, if you're from Israel, you can enter Sinai, right? Via the land border, the southern land border. You can enter Sinai without a visa. So if you want to go to Sharm el Sheikh and Dahab and all those places in Sinai, you can go without a visa. But if you want to go to Egypt, to Cairo, you want to go to cross the Suez Canal, let's say, either by land or flying, then you need a visa. And they don't always give the visas to Israelis. They do sometimes. They do, but sometimes they just decide not to give it for whatever reason. So it can be a problem. There's nobody applying for visas now, though, to visit Egypt. I promise you that. Not with the current situation. Someone says Palestine has the right to change the authority of the land, the government. Even in America, there were civil wars. There is a right to bear arms. You're right. They have a right to bear arms. They don't have a right. I mean, they have a right, but to call for Israel's annihilation and constantly attack Israel, which is what Hamas does. They have a right to do that, but Israel has a right to respond. That's the thing. So yeah, I mean, if they want to, and that's what drives me crazy is that everyone's just. It's like what the Palestinians do and say doesn't matter. Only Israel's response matters. You know, Hamas have the don't tell us how to resist. They have the right to choose Hamas. Like, yeah, they do, but then Israel has the right to respond. Like if you have an organization that says openly, unabashedly, proudly, we reject Israel's existence. Our goal is to annihilate Israel and kill every Jew. That's what Hamas says, and then they fire rockets on Israeli civilians. Yeah, they have the right to do that. And Israel has the right to respond and fuck them up for doing that, Or to try or to ensure that they don't fire rockets in the first place to protect its citizens. So I mean it's you can't win in this situation. Do we agree that Israel didn't achieve its war goals in this war? Yes, we agree. I agree at least. That Israel did not achieve its goals in the war. I went for Sabich in London today, not the same as TLV. Yeah. Nothing like a TLV Sabich. Someone says Netanyahu is horrible. Yeah, sounds about right. Do you think that Israel could have a better reputation with some reforms, or is the damage already done? Reforms? What reforms exactly? If you have forced to live in one Arab country, which one would it be and why? UAE at the moment, just because it's safe. You can say you're Jewish there, there's no problem. And there's business opportunities there. And they have direct flights to Israel and to a bunch of other places. I was actually thinking of going to the UAE when I was like looking to change jobs as a reporter and stuff. I wanted to maybe go there. And so, yeah, that would be the place at the moment to go to Arab country. If you were first to freak calls himself a nomad, more like parasite. Okay. You speak a lot of truth, man. Keep it up, Yagevel. Toda. It was a wonderful surprise to see you. Wait a second. Sometimes this thing jumps. It was a wonderful surprise to see you via the phone today. How often do you do this? Like live streams? It depends. There was a time in Israel where I was doing live streams like every couple days. Now I'm doing less. Let's say on average once a week. Maybe a bit less when I'm traveling in Africa. You just have to have the notification bell that when I do a live stream, you get a live stream. Hello from Kentucky. Hello. Kentucky Derby. Would you visit Tunisia? Yeah, I kind of want to visit Tunisia. But again, it's like post October 7th, all these things, visiting Tunisia, Pakistan, Mauritania, all these like, it's a tough time to visit because emotions are so high over what's going on in Gaza. The risk is high for me. Do you think Lod will go back to how it was in the early 60s? I've heard some great stories from my grandparents. I don't know what Lod was like in the early 60s, so I can't answer. I don't even know very well what Lod is like now because I haven't been there very often, so I can't answer that question. Lod is a city in Israel, a mixed Jewish Arab town in Israel. Um, Bochra says Tunisia is definitely not risky for Jews as Tunisian. Jews themselves live there. I speak as a Tunisian. It's a very rare situation. I don't know. Look, I don't know enough about Tunisia, but first of all, Jewish and from Israel is not the same thing, right? Like when you're from Israel, the risk is much higher. And they also firebombed a couple synagogues in Tunisia, if I remember correctly. So I don't know. Um, that's the deal. I want to visit Tunisia, definitely a country that interests me, and they got some really cool stuff there. Question is, again, now just everything is more difficult. Post October 7th, all these adventures are more difficult to do. Someone says mixed feelings, most definitely. Yeah, mixed feelings. Everyone's, wait, actually, a lot of people are saying happy. So, how do you feel about today? 46% say happy, 9% sad, 45% mixed feelings. So happy is actually overtaken mixed feelings. That's the power of emotion, right? Of empathy. We have so much empathy for the hostages and their families that people are happy despite the fact that it's clear that this is a bad deal for Israel, And I kind of feel like that as well. I kind of feel happy, but inside I know that from a raw logical perspective, from my heart is happy, but my brain is not happy. My brain is saying this is really not good news, what's going on. Shawarma in Haifa is the best. Did you see that I ate a shawarma in one of my Haifa videos? Someone says you have to right. I guess you mean no rights to go and unalive someone. Does that make it moral or ethical? Just I don't know what that means, but yeah, no, we shouldn't kill people. That's true. How do you require a second? Islam needs to reform. You cannot reclaim a land. Okay, some people are like repeating these kind of like copy paste questions. Come to Yemen. Yeah, hang out with the Houthis. Would you consider Saudi Arabia high or low risk? Low risk, low risk. Like even if you're from Israel, I mean, if you can enter with a foreign passport, low risk. But for me, it was higher risk because I'm like filming things, and it's still not like you're not supposed to, for example, film people in Saudi. Like there's a problem if you want to film a woman, for example, in a burqa, which is interesting for the viewer, right? You're not really supposed to do that in Saudi. By the way, there was a woman who in the UAE she filmed a couple, like a man and a woman in a burqa, and then she kind of like laughed at them, right? Which is not okay, by the way, in my opinion. And the UAE authorities caught her and gave her like a huge fine and put her in jail for a few days or something like that, you know? Because she was like mocking the religion to a certain extent, but she was breaking the law. The law in UAE says you're not allowed to film people without their permission. So there's risks in these places that are not places where you have like freedom of speech and free media and things like that. When you go around with a camera, like you may not intend to insult anyone or break the law, but you might accidentally do it and get in big trouble. That's the thing. So for me, the risk was higher because not only am I from Israel, but I'm filming. So I'm filming like if they find out I'm from Israel and I'm filming something, they say, "What are you like Mossad? What are you doing here? What do you It's there's a risk. There's a certain risk. But if you're not filming, then the risk is reduced significantly. If you're just walking around, then nothing will happen to you." The Jewish autonomy in Russia, yeah, the Oblast. It's just really far away to get there. It's like in East Russia. Matthew says, how has Netanyahu stayed in power? Will he survive another year? Will it make a difference if someone else comes? So how did he stay in power? He stayed in power by not going to an election, right? I mean, there was a demand among some in Israel to say, not at the beginning. At the beginning, when the war broke out, there was an emergency. No, like we're in wartime. But after a while where, the situation first stabilized And then once we understood we're going into a long-term war with Hamas, people said, okay, now is the time to have a referendum on the Israeli government after the failure of this government. And Netanyahu said, no, I'm not having elections. I'm elected for 5 years. We'll have elections when elections come. And his government, his coalition partners decided to stay with him. So, yeah. So the question is, when the next election comes, which will be in what? I've lost 2026, maybe next year? Maybe even 2027. I don't remember anymore. In about a year and a half, then there'll be an election and they can vote him out. Maybe. If the people are smart enough to understand how poorly he led us in this war. But some people, they're not. They're just convinced that the only person who can lead Israel is Netanyahu, even if the evidence is not exactly very kind to Netanyahu as far as Israel's situation. But that's the deal. Tunisia harbored Arafat for many years. And who brought Arafat back from Tunisia? Israel. Israel went to Tunisia, grabbed him, brought him back to sign the Oslo Accords. Say what you will of that. Greetings from Germany. Thank you. Vigets. Where are you now? I'm in Nairobi, Kenya. The IDF lost. Come on, man, says King 1991. Inaccuracy. The IDF didn't lose. Israel, as a state, did they lose? They didn't win. That's true. The fact that Hamas were able to come up and go like this, but it's not that the IDF lost. The IDF smashed Hamas and smashed Hezbollah. The loss was a geopolitical loss and a political loss in some ways, right? The pressure from the beginning was applied on Israel, not on Hamas to release the hostages. So all the international pressure was Israel needs to supply humanitarian aid to the enemy it's fighting, which is not real, not something that should happen. And there was no, for example, pressure on Hamas to say, if you don't give aid to the hostages, and if you don't allow the Red Cross to visit the hostages, or even better, release the hostages, we're not giving you aid. So the pressure was on Israel. The international institutions, the UN and stuff, were against Israel. The NGOs were against Israel. The U.S. Administration was not supportive enough of Israel. So in the end, all those pressures, bad leadership from Israel as well, meant that on a political level, diplomatic level, Israel was forced into a terrible deal. But it doesn't mean the IDF lost. The IDF smashed Hamas. The IDF smashed Hezbollah. They blew up Hezbollah in the pager operation. Israel, IDF also had losses, but they took out 20,000 Hamas people or something like that. So no, it's the same deal. Israel militarily, Israel always wins. Politically, diplomatically, Israel always loses. Same, nothing new. So what happened? The best example of this was 56, right? The Suez crisis, when Israel and Britain and France attacked Egypt and took the Suez Canal after Nasser wanted to nationalize the Suez Canal, close the Straits of Tiran. No. Militarily, they won. Politically, they lost. Then it was the U.S. The U.S. actually put pressure, was against Israel then, in support of Egypt. That was a good example of that. But, many times, all these was 2006, Israel did much more damage to Hezbollah than vice versa. And then the deal they had to sign was bad for Israel. That's the deal. Israel can't win. Israel can win militarily, but it can't win diplomatically because it's isolated. It's surrounded by Muslim Arab countries who automatically support the Palestinians. And then you have the rest of the world who are, the Europeans and stuff, who are bought into the... we need to help the Palestinians and we need to put pressure on Israel, which is the opposite of what you need to do. But yeah. Are you the Jewish guy that goes viral? I went viral. If I went viral, my situation would be better. I don't think I went viral. Someone says greetings from Austria. Greetings from Texas. What country are you in right now? Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya. Shalom. Oh, Timo. Hello, Timo. You travel a lot, so what is your favorite airline? Is El Al good? Before Turkish Airlines fly to Tel Aviv, but not anymore. Yeah, no more direct flights between Turkey and Israel right now. El Al is not good. They're expensive and not worth the price. And then... no offense, why don't you answer the question about reclaiming a land after 2,000 years? Honestly, I don't understand the logic, and many Palestinians have Jewish origin before Jews were kin and coexist. I don't know what you mean, but like when people always say the fact that you were there before doesn't give you the right to come and take the Palestinian land. But that's the problem. I agree. The problem is that with this argument always is this idea that everything in Israel was taken from the Palestinians, which it wasn't. All the major cities, the later cities that were built, Tel Aviv, Rishon LeZion, Petah Tikva, they're all built on land that was empty or almost completely empty and purchased and registered under the authority of the time, the Ottoman Empire. And then the city was built from nothing. Like Tel Aviv was built on a sand dune. And all the people were anti-Israel. They don't get this. Like I walk around Tel Aviv and I see in the comments, or Jerusalem, parts of Jerusalem, like Mea Shearim, that was a Jewish neighborhood that they built outside the walls of Jerusalem under Ottoman Jerusalem, in the 1800s. And then they think how many, all those houses, how many Palestinians used to live in those houses? It's like, no, those aren't Palestinian houses. Those houses were not taken from Palestinians. Those houses were built by Jews on empty land from long before 48, and Tel Aviv is the same. There's not a single house in Tel Aviv. Maybe if you go up north, like Sheikh Munis or parts of Jaffa, but like the Tel Aviv city, nothing there it's not the Palestinians lived there and then the Jews took the houses, So that's the argument, is always you don't have a right to come and take their land. And I'm saying you're right. We don't have the fact that Jews have history there didn't give them the right to go and take the land, to take Palestinians from their land and kick them out. But that's not what they did. That's not what they did. Only in 48, after the Arabs attacked, then yes, they lost land in the war of survival of 48. So it's just, you have to repeat this point again and again, and they never believe it or are willing to listen to the argument. As far as they're concerned, all of Israel is basically Palestinian land that the Jews came and stole. All of it. Do you want to visit the Jewish community in Ukraine one day? Yeah. In your opinion, did the IDF show enough consideration for the civilian population in Gaza? Yes, I think they did. But, no matter how much consideration you show, when you're fighting enemies who don't wear uniform, who are hiding in the civilian population, there's going to be a lot of damage. By the way, all of a sudden, when the hostages were released and when there's a ceasefire, all of a sudden they found their uniforms. Did you notice? You notice how in the videos, all of a sudden Gazans, they're wearing their Hamas uniforms proudly? Why don't they do that when they fight? All of a sudden, they remember they have uniforms because they fight without uniforms. Why? Because they hide among the civilians. That's what they do. Zainadin, it was built as a headquarters to expand and conquer. What is it? What, Tel Aviv? What are you talking about? Okay, if you're in the position of a Palestinian, what will you do about occupation, illegal settlements? Thank you. What I would do if I were a Palestinian, if I had, for example, if I had all control of all of Gaza, as the Palestinians have, again now, pretty much, after Israel surrendered to them to get the hostages out, I would say, after Israel withdrew from Gaza 2005, if I were a Palestinian, I would say, look, our goal is to live peacefully next to Israel. We have a territory now. Help us develop it and turn it into a prosperous territory. All the aid coming in from the international community, we're here to build our state. And hopefully we can resolve our issues with Israel, live peacefully next to them. That's what I would do. What did Hamas do? Oh, good. You gave this up. We're coming for the rest next. We're going to destroy Israel. And then they used all the money to arm for rockets and everything and started launching them into Israel. That's what they did. So that's what they did. What they should have done is, we want to live peacefully next to Israel and build a state. They never engage in any type of state building, ever. Because the war against Israel is more important than state building. They have all of Gaza. They could have started building. But building is tough. It requires cooperation. It requires dialogue. It requires lots of hard and slow work. what's easier for them is to just attack Israel and then, bring in the whole international community, drag them into the story, and that way distract the people from their inability to provide anything productive for them. Replay 19, man, Alec, I love you so much, man. Good to watch your videos. It's like traveling with you. We share so much of the same values and views regarding politics. We also share the same birthday, I think, year. If it says 1988, I was also born in 88. If that's the year you were born, but your name says Replay 88. Am Israel Chai, but you write Am Israel with an Ain, not with an Aleph. RK Anime. You wrote with an Aleph is Im. Im means if. With an Aleph. With an Ain is which is people. The people of Israel live. Come to Vienna, we eat schnitzel. Someone says, are you in Israel now? No, I'm in Africa. I'm in Africa. Na, 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 na. What the hell? I'm posting on X recently some stuff, trying to like expand my reach a little bit. Some of these stuff are getting a little bit of exposure. I put out a video now. I just got 2,000 views on X from my Saudi trip. So if you guys want to follow me on X, Twitter, X, formerly Twitter. If you guys are there, I mean, I'm not there that much, but that's my X account. So yeah, you can, because remember, I used to be a journalist, so I was supposed to be like posting on Twitter, like for the channel that I was working for, whatever. But yeah, then I stopped when I became a vlogger, and now I'm posting once in a while there, so. Yeah, I mean, what happened here? Sorry about that. So yeah, it's something. So yeah, on X, what happened on X was that my video getting kicked off a motorbike on X was like shared like 3 or 4 times, and each time it got like 3 million views, And everyone there, they're so happy. All the Israel haters, kick him off the motorbike, show those Zionists. So pathetic, like so petty. Also petty. It's not even evil or wrong. It's petty. Like you're a tuk-tuk driver and a tourist comes and like we have to kick him off because he's from the country we don't like. It's and they were so happy. They were elated, in the comments. They were so, it's like I was the source of all their rage. It's just it's a thing. What else here? Someone says, I saw a video of, someone says, Titkallem Arabi? Shwai, little bit. I saw a video of the IDF in Gaza being celebrated by the Palestinians. A video of the IDF in Gaza being celebrated by the Palestinians. Which video? Do you think it's real, and how strong is the support for Hamas in Gaza? I think support for Hamas in Gaza is strong. Look, Hamas are heroes. They massacred all those Israelis, took them hostage, and, in the end of the day, they're able to come out and still control Gaza. That's a victory for them. All the people who died from the war, all the damage and destruction, that's not really a loss for them. Greetings from Yerevan. Listening to your stream. Oh, it's Andre. Oh, okay. How's it going, man? I was like, wait, another Armenian? But it's the dude who was with me in Armenia. I made a video with him. Check out my Armenia videos, guys. I have 3 videos from Armenia, and they're kind of hiding in my channel because they came out like at different times, you know? So you should check them out. They're actually pretty cool. Someone says here in Arabic something, wa sharaik bi el Saudiya u afdal dawla zat. I didn't understand that. Okay, someone wrote something in Arabic I didn't understand. What else? How much do you make on X for 1,000 views? Nothing. First of all, I'm not monetized on X, but even if I were monetized, it's nothing. You need like a lot of views. Seeing you live from Northern Israel. Thank you. I hope I'm glad Northern Israel is a bit safer now, although Hezbollah are back there, so you know. You can read Arabic? Yeah, but not very well. Not very well. Like, I can read the letters. The problem is, you know, when you read, you're able to read properly when you understand the word, right? So when if you were reading English letters, but the words didn't make sense to you because you didn't recognize the words, your reading would be very bad. So I have that problem in Arabic, is that I can read the letters, but there are words I don't understand, I don't recognize. So for example, this guy posts la titkalem, so he says you don't talk, right? Titkalem is talk, la. An, about, el, siyase, about the politics. Rash, el, fadl, dawla, zaratha. I think something, you're not talking about the politics of the countries you visited, something like that, you know? So there are some words here I recognize. Dawla means state. Zul is to visit, right? Zaratha, you visited. But this is the problem. This is why I have a problem. Like, I can read Arabic, but there's just some, there's some words I don't understand, so it's hard for me to read, you know? What's going on here? Damn, these mosquitoes are killing me. Didn't Netanyahu betray Israel when he accepted the ceasefire, which, let's be honest, means he surrendered to Hamas? He failed to retrieve the hostages military and failed to defeat Hamas military. I agree. I think he failed and he should be replaced. And he failed because his relations with the U.S. were not good, because he doesn't know how he manages to piss off his allies and his colleagues and so forth. Because he had far-right people in his government, because he wasn't visible enough during the war. He was hiding because he was trying to avoid responsibility. Strung people along because he didn't have a clear goal of what he wanted to do. I mean, the failures are endless of Netanyahu. They're endless. And yeah, so if you say that this deal is a bad deal for Israel and it's a type of defeat, and Netanyahu was responsible, then I would agree. I am from Morocco. Hello. How's it going? Someone says, thank you for your content. I've learned a lot about Islamic countries from your content. Can you talk about how you learned Arabic? Yeah, I just taught myself. Where are you currently? In Nairobi, Kenya. Many Gazans hate Hamas because of all the war pain. They insult Hamas in many videos for sacrificing them and not having the power to protect them. They were even insulting, and because, yeah, I mean, there's some opposition to Hamas for leading them to disaster, but it's not nearly enough to remove them. And also, I talked about this, about the opposition to Hamas. The opposition to Hamas is because Hamas has led them to disaster time and again. So people are upset. They look at their life, right, in Gaza. They look at the destruction in Gaza, the death of their family members, the lack of jobs, the lack of hope, whatever it is, the corruption, right? Because they're corrupt, Hamas, they take in lots of money. They look at all that, and then they're frustrated, and they attack Hamas. But the opposition to Hamas, there isn't any real ideological opposition to Hamas's position regarding Israel. And that's what frustrates me. So people, like I said, they're frustrated. No jobs, no money, no house bombed by Israel, no family killed by Israel, no hope, whatever it is, no ability to complain because Hamas will crack down on you, all these things. So they look at the result of the leadership, and then they get angry at Hamas. But nobody, or at least not publicly or in any real movement, actually sits and, from an ideological perspective, sits there and says, Hamas wants to annihilate Israel, and they want to attack Israel all the time with their rockets and so forth. I think this is wrong. It's wrong morally, and it's not good for us. You know what we should do? We should say that we want to live peacefully next to Israel and stop attacking them and try to build the enclave into something else. Does that movement exist? No, it doesn't. Meaning an ideological counter to Hamas in Gaza. There is none. And that's the problem. So you're right, that it's the same thing in the Palestinian Authority. There's tons and tons and tons of opposition to the Palestinian Authority. What's the opposition about? Collaboration with Israel, corruption, bad governance, a bunch of things. But there is no movement in the West Bank of people who say, you know what? Terrorism isn't good. Pay for slay isn't good. Two-state solution, it's not enough to just say the words two-state solution. We also have to be realistic and understand there's no right of return into Israel. We're not going to claim Haifa and Jaffa and all those places. We have to try to build a state on, part of the land. And that Jews have a right to be self-determined. Like a different ideological movement. There is none. So this, that's why I don't buy really this opposition to the leadership that we hear that people, they're against the Palestinian Authority and they're against Hamas, but they don't have a different vision regarding Israel. They don't have a vision that says the Jews, they also have a right to be here. Maybe we don't agree with everything that happened historically. There's always going to be, but even if we make peace in the future, there's going to be disagreements on narrative. Fine. But like in a general sense, there is none of that. So there's no ideological opposition to the current ideological position among Palestinians and their allies, which is the Jews don't have a right to have a state. The Jews don't belong. Zionism is evil. We have to remove the Jewish state and replace it with something else. That's the vision, and I don't see any real opposition to that vision. Even expats who don't have to worry about what they say. They're in the U.S., Britain, they can say whatever they want. Nothing of that sort among them. Just attacks against Israel and, very, very meek, lip service to oppose what Hamas did and then go about and blame Israel for everything and so forth. Andre says, I'm doing good. It's pretty cold here. As of the deal, I have very mixed feelings about the deal. I'm happy that the hostages were freed, but such deals just fuel terrorism in the long run. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel. By the way, let's look at our poll. Oh, we got 293 votes. That's a lot. 293 votes. 45% said happy, 47 mixed feelings, 8% sad. That's kind of what I expected to see. That's what I expected. By the way, guys, people ask me how I fund my travels, and my answer was I barely fund them. I barely break even, if at all. So this is an opportunity to ask. If you like my content, you can go to my Patreon, which is on my page, and you can become a Patreon and, for $5 a month, get access to exclusive content, help support my channel. You can send me a PayPal. I have a PayPal link. You can send me money there. You can buy merchandise. So I have a merch shop, so you can get shirts, Insightful Nomad shirts, hats, other stuff, cool stuff. So if you want to support me and also get something in return, then you can. And if you don't want to support me with money because you don't have a lot of money, which is fine, I don't have a lot of money, then, show the channel to your friends, watch the videos all the way through. It's good for the algorithm. Like, comment, and share the videos. That's just as important as supporting with money. So just got that out there. I see that people here are appreciating my work. So if you appreciate my work, then help support me. That's what keeps me alive. Like, if it weren't for the contributions I get from some of you guys, and the support and everything, just the money I get from the views wouldn't be enough to keep me going. So it's really, really important. I'm from Serbia. Do you know the city Yehud in Israel? Of course. Yeah, I know the city Yehud in Israel. Do you have a luxurious lifestyle? Live in fancy hotels? No. How would I? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I barely break even from being like in basic accommodation. For example, I'm now in Nairobi. Because I managed to get a really good deal. I managed to get a hotel. So 1,225. Yeah, $12 a night. $12 a night. The hotel I'm staying in right now. So yeah. So $12 a night, and I need to get food. I need to this. If I'm making content, I need to pay for all kinds of stuff. So yeah, like, I'm breaking even. But basically, my story is, when I'm traveling and I'm just kind of like doing the day to day, like the travel, like the hotel, the food, the moving from place to place, I'm basically breaking even in the green. But then if you calculate in things like flights, visas, these extra payments, equipment payments, and stuff like that, I go into the red. That's the deal. So like on a day like today, then my expenses are low, so it's okay. But yeah. So replay mini support. Thank you. Yeah, that will get me. That will get me a little meal here in Kenya, so that's good. Um, you know. Hello, my guy. Never saw you live before. Is this your first? No, I've done a lot of live streams actually. I guess you don't go live a lot. No, I've been live quite a few times. There are periods where I did more lives, periods less. When I was in Israel, so because my content was more Israel focused and things were happening in Israel and stuff, I did a lot of live streams. Now I'm in Africa, I'm not doing as many live streams. So you need an extra job? Yeah, when I get back to Israel, I'm gonna need an extra job. Like when I get back, because I plan to stay in Israel for a while. I'll still be traveling, but like I'll do short trips, like, and back. I just need to like have a base in Israel for a while, because I've been on the road for almost 2 years now, and I need some family time. I need some recovery time. So yeah. Is Nairobi boring? It seems nice, but not a lot to do. No, there are things to do. It's less a city of my style because it's not like a really historical city, because it's a young city, Nairobi. Nairobi was founded as a depot, or a stop on the way of the train between Mombasa and Uganda in like 1899 or something like that. So, it's not a city like Cairo that has this insane like 2,000 year history or whatever, which is the type of things that I usually unpack. But that doesn't mean Nairobi isn't an interesting city. There's some crazy markets, crazy nightlife. There's a safari right next to the city. There's very nice areas you can show the high life here. There's plenty to do. But I made a bunch of videos. I made one video from Nairobi, and I have more coming. So, but there's a limit to how much you can do from any city, including Nairobi. Thoughts on the ceasefire situation? Are you excited for this new chapter for people to coexist in peace? No, because I don't think this is a new chapter to coexist in peace. This is just a lull in the fighting. Um, and the fighting is going to resume, because Hamas are not going to release all the hostages, and they're going to demand like thousands of murderers and terrorists in response. they're going to try to get Israel out of Gaza permanently in response so they can retake control of it. So yeah, we're this isn't the coming of peace, this ceasefire. No, unfortunately, I wish it were, but it's not. Someone says go to Namibia. It's the best country in Africa, hopefully. Settler violence needs to stop. I agree. Also, do you agree with evangelists who wanted to create Israel? All right, so 45% happy, 4% sad, 8% sad, 47% mixed. All right, I think we're going to end the poll because we got to end the live stream soon. It is like 1 a.m. here. So that's the final. We got 300 votes. That's a lot. That means a lot of people tuned in. A lot of people voted. We got 46% mixed feelings, 45% happy, 8% sad. We got $32 in contributions, which is great. Help pay for my visa to some other African countries here. Last chance for you guys to donate if you want to donate something. And it would be really cool if we got a Patreon subscriber from this live stream. One more Patreon subscriber, because it's like a more steady, income. It's coming every month. And, there's a nice Patreon community, and I share exclusive content there, so you get something in return. So if anyone here wants to join my Patreon, I would really appreciate it. Your Africa video of the church you had to climb up in the mountains was wild. Yeah, it was wild. It's pretty crazy. Damn, how did this mosquito get in here? I closed the window. One mosquito and you won't sleep. It'll go zzz, you won't sleep. It'll kill you. Right. But yeah, the Abuna Yamata, the church, the monastery in the sky in Ethiopia was a sick video. Yeah, that place was crazy. Anna sent another contribution. Thank you, Anna, so much. Really appreciate your help with some Swedish kronar. What, the YouTuber type? I'm broke, the YouTuber type? Yeah. Most YouTubers are kind of broke because it just doesn't pay that well. And, if you're a traveler, traveling costs money. And I travel very cheap. Like, I don't live on excesses. I really do the minimum that I need to travel and make videos, and it costs money. It costs money. Your channel deserves a lot more subscribers. Thank you. I hope so. I hope so. But I will say, before we leave, again, here's some stuff that you can check out, right? So we have here, this is my Patreon. There's some content there that you can become a member, not a paying member, just a member, a free member. And there's some content there that you can check out. So that's cool. Like, there's some content you won't find on my YouTube anywhere. It's only on my Patreon. If you become a member, even a free member to start with, maybe later a paying member, you can see exclusive content, like scenes from Egypt, for example, that I didn't publish. You can see there. Other cool stuff. Then if you want to get some merchandise, this is my merch shop. So that's like you can get it as a birthday gift for somebody or something, or for yourself or whatever. So that's another way you can support me. Although it's always better to just if you just want to support me, give me contribution, right? Because if you buy a shirt, let's say a shirt costs $15 or $20, then I only get like 1/3 of the money, because the rest is to produce the shirt. But it's still, you get something in return, right? So if you like the merchandise, then you can get it. So yeah, that's the deal. And then you help the channel continue to run. He deserves more subscribers and more views, and it will come. Hopefully, sir. It's Patreon, not OnlyFans. If it was OnlyFans, you get more money than Patreon. But yeah. So yeah, that's it. All right. I think we're gonna end this here. My battery's also on how much? Battery is on like 4%, and it's late. So yeah, that's the deal. Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you all for joining. This was we had quite a lot of people on the live stream. We had 300 people in the poll. Most people either happy or mixed feelings, which kind of makes sense. So that's the feeling today. There's going to be a lot more stuff happening in the coming days with the ceasefire deal. hostage release and all those things. So yeah, I hope you guys, I don't know, I hope you guys find the right people to follow to get the news, you know. So if y'all want to support for the sake of support, just drop a donation. Otherwise, if you want to get a cool shirt and memoir support, then you can buy the affiliated merch. Exactly. That's the deal. Exactly. All right. See ya, big man. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. It's a bit late for hi, but yeah. Good night. Good night. Subscribe, guys. That's true. Am Yisrael Chai. Yalla bye. Someone here says Am Yisrael Chai. Yalla bye. You're my favorite traveler. Thank you. Yeah, we got an hour and a half live stream. So that's it. Signing out. Yalla bye.